I'm a punk rocker and I try to be as independent and self-reliant as possible, so I'm learning how to homestead. Welcome to Punksteading. Let's get started. Hey guys, Hannah here. I did want to do a quick update and kind of an announcement. Sorry, I got distracted by a bird. Spring is sprung here. Things are blooming, the birds are singing, the frogs are croaking at night, and things have gotten busy for me. Not only am I working a full-time job, which is now offering overtime every single week because it's our busy season, I'm also doing the work trade here, and I'm also potentially going to get like 2 or 3 side gardening gigs depending on how things work out. So I'm going to be extremely busy this spring, and I enjoy being busy. I'm very excited to see what the spring holds. That being said, I'm going to continue to make small videos every week, but it will more than likely be every 2 weeks for the blog. I just can't in good conscience get a blog post ready every single week, because I do take my writing very seriously and I want it to be properly organized and edited for you all. So that'll probably be every 2 weeks. Again, I thank you so much for continuing to support me, especially as I kind of figure out all of these things I'm trying to do, especially when it comes to time management. I'm always learning about time management. That being said, let's get into the video this week. This one does not have a blog post attached, mainly because it's just kind of a small update video. And my update video is about my compost bin. So, it's doing very well right now. It's thriving. I did want to tell you guys about the mistake I made right at the beginning. It's totally on me, totally my fault. I was very excited about starting a compost bin. I'd always wanted to start a compost bin, and I was ready and gung-ho about it. It was the middle of December when I decided to start my compost bin, and I ordered my worms from Uncle Jim's Worm Farm. They are a phenomenal company. Absolutely nothing against them. This was totally my mistake. They ship their worms to me in their little baggie, and they dehydrate the worms, not completely, but enough to kind of put them in a dormant state, so they're not wiggling around in the P.O. box, basically, or in the shipping cardboard box. And when you get the worms, you're supposed to pour them all out into your container, cover them with newspaper, and then pour water on top of that newspaper, and that way they can rehydrate and get really wiggly and wormy again. I did that, absolutely no problem at all. And then the next night it got below freezing. And because those worms were rehydrated, they were full of water, and they all froze. That one was on me, and I will probably have 500 worm corpses haunt me for the rest of my life. So I ordered from Uncle Jim's Worm Farm again. I was like, alright, that's on me, whatever, I'll get some more worms. Now, they are based in Pennsylvania, and they advertise that they can, ship across the country for, 2-day very quick shipping. Again, nothing against the company. I do think they did their best. The entire country went through like a winter blizzard that time around, and somewhere, I think it was in like Tennessee, my worms got delayed, and I waited for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and finally on the 5th day my worms showed up, but by then it was too late. They had been dehydrated for too long and just didn't have enough moisture in them to survive that trip. So I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this. Is 2 batches of worms just completely gone because of the cold weather. And I called around to my local garden stores, and I'm like, do you have any composting worms? Do you have any composting worms? And finally I found one gardening store that didn't have any this week but was going to have some next week. So I waited and waited for that phone call. finally got it. And I didn't even ask at that point if it was all red wigglers. I just kind of was like, I need worms. So I got a Tupperware container full of worms, dirt, and like small wormlings. I don't know if they lay eggs or if they just birth worms. I don't know. But they had the baby worms in there too. And those were completely, you know, they weren't dehydrated or anything. They were just a Tupperware full of like worms for composting. So I dumped that whole thing in my container, and they have been thriving. Ever since I actually bought local worms, I haven't had a problem. Now, that was the middle of December. We did have some weather in January and some weather in February as well. So normally they live in my wonderful garage, which I absolutely love. When it was on the cusp of freezing, so it was like 34, 33 degrees, I wrapped them in this like gigantic hand knit blanket, and it's the size of a comforter. I knit it myself and I loved it, but it's like super duper heavy. So I just don't use it often because it's a very heavy comforter type thing. So I would wrap my compost bin in this heavy thing when it was right on the cusp of freezing, and they did fine. When it got super cold, like 19 degrees at night, they were brought into my studio, and I actually kept them in my studio overnight and then brought them back into the garage during the day. And they've been just fine. So we'll open her up here and I'll show you what I got. So, this is just food scraps on top of it, and I'm right here, guys, and it doesn't smell like gross, disgusting dirt. Or gross, disgusting, moldy food or anything like that. It doesn't smell rotten. It smells like dirt. So let's see if I can find a juicy worm for ya. They just turned it, so they may have burrowed deep. Don't want to get disturbed. Oh, here's a good one. There's a couple right there. The wiggly guy. There he goes. Yeah, I'll put you down, little buddy. And there's quite a few crawling in there every time. There's another one. There's another one right there. Every time I turn this, which is about every couple days, I just go in with my little trowel. You can just see them thriving. I absolutely love them. I'm probably just gonna let this sit, just slowly keep adding food scraps to it, turning it every couple of days for, I don't know, another month or so. And then we'll make a video of how I'm going to sift everything out. I want to separate that nice, amazing compost from the rest of the food scraps and put it in probably my flower bed at that point. Oh, and I did want to show you guys one more quick thing and I'll let you go. So we started with, you know, a decent sized layer of sawdust, and a decent sized layer of potting soil. When I really get in there and turn it, there's almost no sawdust left. I have added a little bit of sawdust every once in a while when I notice it's pretty like moist in there, or if I do get a scent of rotting food, just add a small amount of sawdust. But there's really no more initial like sawdust bedding down there. It's all beautiful dark soil, dark compost. And these guys are doing a really, really great job of just giving me a big, beautiful container full of nice, beautiful dirt. So I wanted to update you guys on my mistakes. I guess the takeaway from this is don't start your compost in the dead of winter, or if you do, make sure your worms don't freeze. But other than that, this like $10 bin worked just fine. Bye guys. Tune in next week where I will have a blog post and we are gonna take a sneaky peek into my springtime garden. So, bye guys. See you next week. I wanted to show you guys the fat juicy one since I did a terrible job of shooting the worms. I rewatched this video and I was like, you can't see them at all. There's about 500 of them in there like that. Okay, little guy, you can burrow again.
Oh, I see a little baby worm in there too. Oh, there's some movement over here. Yeah. Alright, guys. Right there, buddy. They probably hate me doing this. Okay, bye, guys.